How's everyone doing? We're back at it today. We're gonna do some background characters. And thankfully this time I have Jasper handling all of the polls, because when I tried to do it last time it was very glitchy on my end. So this will just be a lot easier. And it looks like we're starting with the snow leopard. And let's see which job they end up getting, and that'll kind of determine how I'm gonna start drawing them. And my biggest feedback from last time that we did this from Jasper specifically was that I should explain the drawing process a little bit more than I did. So I'm gonna try and keep that in mind while we're going along, but if I start to forget and jumping ahead in steps, feel free to tell me to stop doing that and to slow down a bit. You guys really like Retired Chainsmoker, but I don't know how I'm supposed to show that. But I guess I will do my best. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna jump into it. I don't exactly know how a retired chain smoker is a job, but I'll do my best. Alright, so for this one I'm gonna do a sitting pose that they're kind of hunched over, so we're gonna start, let's do that a little bit better, with just a basic skeleton shape. And I like to show where the shoulders are and how they're hunched. A line for the back, circle for the head, and I like putting little guidelines to show kind of where their face is directed. And line for the hips. I'm gonna kind of just fill this in with some blocky shapes. And snow leopards are very, very fluffy, so there's not gonna be a ton of definition in the shape. It's mostly just gonna be big, round kind of blob, you know? Neck. We're gonna put some lines for the legs. That's not how I want it. I'm imagining just kind of a pose of him staring very intently at a pack of cigarettes. Because I don't know how else to show that. So we have some foreshortening on this leg, knee coming forward. I don't think they have super long limbs, so they'll kind of end, so their feet is about there. Think of a chain smoker as someone who worked a stressful sort of job and has now since stopped but looks a bit ragged or worn out. Yeah, that sounds good. That's kind of the vibe I was getting as well. Let's put some feet here. We're gonna have the arm kind of coming down, braced on their knee. So I'm just keeping to kind of basic shapes for now. It looks like a huge mess. We're gonna clean it up as we go. Oh, thank you, Penguin Slap. Very nice of you. Yeah, so like living a hard life. We're gonna make him kind of rough looking. Just gonna scooch the head in a little bit. I made the neck a little too long there. And then they have kind of shorter snouts. So just a basic one like that. And we'll do ears back. And then one of their biggest characteristics is that huge fluffy tail. So we're gonna have it wrap around, maybe sitting on the ground like this. And we'll just throw in a little stool so it doesn't look like he's floating midair. Just a basic one, nothing fancy. Okay, so we're gonna make a new layer. We're gonna lower the opacity way down because this is a mess and now we gotta clean it up. I love tails, they could hide stuff in it like Russell can. Yeah, it definitely seems fluffy enough for that. Okay. We're gonna start with some eyes staring very intently in this direction. And do some tired lines. And it looks like Jasper decided on a retired former hunter slash forager who smokes heavily and paints in their older age, which is very specific, so we're gonna make him look a little bit older here. Okay, they kind of have like this shape to their cheeks. They've got big fluffy chins. And okay, looks like they don't have huge noses, but they should be a good size. And they've got rounder ears. And then I guess to show that he's a painter, we're gonna put him in an apron. Because I imagine getting paint on your fur would be very, very annoying. I don't paint as much as I used to paint, but getting paint on my clothes was always very frustrating. It didn't happen very often because I usually worked with very small amounts and I was never a particularly messy painter. I'm just gonna put in some basic shapes. Well, let's make his arm a little bit wider here. They're pretty fluffy fellas. To show that he's a painter, make sure to draw him depressed, ain't that right, dear? You mind your business. Clean up these shapes a bit. Show his apron tie back here. And do a little nice bow. Vincent Van Leopard. I love your art style, they're cute. Thank you. Okay, and his eyes are kind of facing in this direction. Right here. So let's say the pack of cigarettes is sitting right here. Maybe it's on a little table or something. We're just gonna draw in a basic shape because we're not here to draw furniture. I know they probably wouldn't have the same like type of packs of cigarettes that we have necessarily. They could come in anything, I guess, but for simplicity we're just gonna do a recognizable just little pack like this. And maybe we'll have a little pocket. And some paintbrushes sticking out of them. Maybe some splotches of paint on here. Nice little button on the apron string holding it up. He looks traumatized because of the pegs under his eyes. A little bit. Cat plus apron equals Macon. Yeah, he is definitely looking a little Macon-ish right now. Adding some color would definitely fix that. I'm not sure if we're gonna do color this time because we didn't last time, but maybe I'll throw in some quick ones. We'll see. And this tail, let's make it a little bit lower here. And some fluffs. Okay, I think I'm gonna make his head just slightly bigger because they have kind of big heads. Come on. Not a ton bigger, just a little bit. And that's too much. That's too much. There we go. And lose a little bit of that neck. It's a little bit much there. And fix the mistakes. Okay, now the hardest part of the snow leopard is all of the face spots. So let me find a better picture real quick. There we go. Oh, gross, that's an AI picture. We're not using that. I turned off AI photos on Pinterest, but for some reason I'm still getting them, which is very annoying. Okay, there we go. Okay, so they have these fun eyebrows. They're just kind of long oval shapes, like a lot of cats do. Spots along here. Let's make... We want them to look a little more ragged. So I'm gonna add a little bit of that there. Try and show his age a bit better. And then they got a whole bunch of just little spots, kind of all over their forehead. I'm sure it follows a pattern of some kind, but I'm trying to do this quickly so we're not going to get into it too much. Just some quick ones to throw in. And then their ears have this fun white circle with some black outlining it. Like a lot of cats do. Okay. Now for the body spots. Similarly, they don't seem to follow us like a like a perfect pattern, like they don't go down in a line in a specific way. It kind of looks like they're a little bit all over the place, with the largest ones being on the back. So we're just gonna kind of throw in some shapes here. We're not going for perfection or anything, we're just going, we just want to get the idea down, you know? Looks like the neck ones are a bit smaller. It's kind of splotchy spots, so they're not perfectly round or oval or anything like that. And then they go down the arms and get smaller the closer they get to the hands. Do you think they paint landscapes and wildlife, birds, because they're a retired forager? I mean, probably. Landscapes would probably be a, popular decision for artists in this world because they would be painting things that are around them mostly. It's not like current day artists where like we can look up anything in a moment's notice. Their reference would have to be things around them, things that they can see. So they would probably paint landscapes or portraits of people that they know, still life of just objects in their house, stuff like that. Hey Luke, thanks for joining us. Bob Snow like Bob Ross. That's funny. I didn't see what the options were in the poll. Let me see. Colin/Colleen, Rustum, Hulsaria, and Lee, it looks like. Or Lay, something. Fun choices. Okay, and the tail. It looks like they have pretty big spots along the tail. And it looks like the further down they go, they stop being like those hollow shapes that most of them are. Yeah, it's not going to be perfect because I'm just looking at one reference photo and kind of guessing as I go. But yeah, this doesn't need to be perfect. This is a rough sketch. If I decide to put in a snow leopard character, this character later on, I'll do a little more research on their patterns and how they look. For now, we're just gonna throw them in at random. It looks like Colin/Colleen is winning so far. Okay. Guess I should throw this chair back in real quick so he's not just floating in space. Again, chair's not perfect, but it's not why we're here. So. May have missed it, but Bandicoot said that this is the first time in the stream and they like your character so much. Oh, thank you. I did miss that. But glad you could join us. Okay. Turn off the old sketch now. We can delete that. Not important anymore. And we got this rough, and yeah. Looking good so far, I think. So we're just gonna clean it up a little bit. We're gonna get in a little bit closer so we can see what we're doing a bit better. Weight to the side of his face here. Fix this up. I realized it once I got a bit closer that his face was at a little bit of an awkward angle, so we're just kind of straightening it out here while we're fixing up the rough sketch. Okay, give him some whiskers. Okay, let's see. A little bit of fluff here. Generally, when I'm going through and drawing characters, I mostly just give them straight edges like this while I'm going along. If they're fluffier characters, I try to add in some more of these, like, just impressions of fluff. You don't want to add too many, because then it makes the character look really busy. But you want to make sure you're adding enough that they don't look just like one solid mass, you know? So I mostly like to put them on, like hard edges, like elbows, or like where an object is touching their skin, like the apron right here. I have to get off, so good night. Hope all the art goes well, and I'll definitely be back for next stream. Well, thank you for joining us while you could. Hopefully we can see you next week. I'll head out now, but remember my jackal dude to go with Neil. We'll see, it's gotta win the poll to get on the page. But we'll add Jackal to the next one, maybe. Jasper's in control of it. And cats have retractable claws, so we don't have to worry about drawing those on. trying to make this look like he got like splattered with paint or something. Is the king of their land a stereotypical lion? The king is not a lion. We're going to be showing him pretty soon, so we're not gonna get into it, but on the page that goes up on Coffee tomorrow and on Webtoon next week, I believe, Cherry pretty much says exactly what he is, so it's not going to be like a huge surprise. But yeah, no, he's not a lion. And I think I'm going to draw his spots on in a different color just so that they look similar to how they do right now with the opacity on. Just because when they're full, like the same color as the line art, they make him look a little too busy. The little fluff details are my favorite. Yeah. Like I said, I like putting them on like joints and stuff like that. I just think it's just enough to kind of get it across without having too many of them. Let's fix that. I like this shape that I got the first time around. There we go. And same as before, I don't really care about the stool, I just want it to be there so that we know he's sitting down and not just squatting in midair. What's that? I'm gonna clean this up just a little bit. And yeah, he's not gonna be perfect by any means. I mean, I'm trying to draw as quickly as I can. And we don't want to spend too much time on each one, so we can have an array of characters by the end. The box here. Let's get started on the next poll while we're here. Yeah, that's a great idea. stuff on the table here. Just to give it a little more oomph, you know? Palette knife. Some pencils, paintbrush. Be like a glass jar with some dirty paint water in it. Okay. Since this is the line art, I think I'm gonna actually make it the line art color. So I'm just gonna make a quick clipping mask. Choose my line art color and just do that and merge down. Go. And then for his spots, it's kind of an older fella, so I'm just gonna do like a dark gray. Usually their spots are closer to like a black color. But he is a little old man, so he's gonna get some dark gray. And like I said, we don't want it to contrast too much with the line art. It makes it a little busy to look at. It's a little bit later. Binturong, Jackal, Capybara, or Komodo Dragon. That is a wild selection. And I'm just gonna fill these in very roughly. You don't want me to be spending an hour just filling in these spots. Or just to get the idea of it, you know? It looks like it's at a tie right now, Jackal and Komodo Dragon. So someone's gotta, one more person's gotta come in and vote at least, be the tiebreaker. Jackal with lizard tail, something something. Okay, it looks like Jackal's the winner. We're not quite there yet, but once I finish these spots, we'll move on to Jackal. But in the meantime, how about you guys figure out what kind of job, figure out the background of this Jackal. Comedy, drug dealer, comedian. Door-to-door salesman. Neurosurgeon. Sorry to disappoint. I don't think they would have that technology yet. I think the most complex surgery they would have would be like sewing up, or like removing a limb and closing up the stump kind of thing. Medieval neurosurgeon. Oh god, lobotomies are coming back. Lobotomist. Surgeon by day, gravekeeper by night. They're not a very good surgeon. That's very funny. If Brainhole Driller gets picked, the Jackal should have a 1,000-yard stare because all of his patients die. That's messed up. I love it. This whole page is just gonna be characters with trauma. Let's just paint bucket that. Okay, it looks like Topographer is the winner. So this isn't gonna be the page of just depressed animals. Yeah, no, sorry to disappoint. We're not gonna be just giving every single character on this page trauma. I mean, he could still have some. We don't know what his personal life is like. They're a really depressed topographer. That's funny. I got the mental image of the Jackal character wearing a hiking backpack, looking over a map, and thought they're mapping the surrounding hills and rivers to build a new settlement or expand. That's cool. That's some good imagery. We'll use that for the pose. Okay, almost finished with this one here. I am now feeling already done with drawing spots. No, you can still keep doing spotted animals. Yeah, there we go. First fella is done, and I believe, yes, he is Colin, the retired explorer who smokes and paints, but is trying to quit smoking. So I'm just gonna write that down really quickly. Let's put it down here. Colin. Oops. And there we are. First fella is done. So we're just gonna name this Colin. Tired spotty guy. Yep, that's him. Okay, we'll delete this old layer so we don't need it anymore. And we'll make a new one. I drew him maybe a little big, but we still have lots of space on this page. So just give me one moment to look up some pictures of jackals. Okay, and I want him to have like, I'm thinking like a comically large hiking backpack because jackals are so little, you know? And it looks like you guys are deciding on clothing at the moment. Okay, let's get started. And I'm just gonna do a basic skeleton shape once again. Already don't like that. Let's try that again. Okay, and they have kind of a very slim build from what I can see. So we're gonna do a little bit longer of a guy. We're just gonna put in the shoulder shape. He's basically just standing, so it's not a super hard pose. We're gonna put all of his weight onto this leg here, so it's gonna be straight. Maybe this one's going out just a little bit. And we decided he's going to be reading a map, and I kind of want it to be, well, I don't want to cover too much of the character. I was going to say it'd be funny to have like a really big map. Yeah, we don't want to cover him too much, so let's put his arms out like this. On the shoulder. And they've got just wee little feet. He's gonna be looking kind of down-ish at the map. And then I'm gonna rough in his backpack. So we're gonna do just basic big shape here. We're doing like a big base of the backpack, but then he's also gonna have like a sleeping roll rolled up on top here. Maybe it takes him a few days. He's got to travel around, you know? And then, how about like a nice big lantern hanging off the side? Okay, it looks like you guys are deciding the gender now. We're just gonna do like a classic lantern shape. So maybe a little bit too much of an angle, so let's select this. We're gonna hide part of it behind the backpack, but we'll see just enough of it peeking out, we'll know what it is. And maybe he's got like an axe or something strapped onto the side here, just in case, you know, he needs to chop up some firewood, something like that, or maybe he runs into someone especially mean on the road and has to axe them. You never know. Maybe there's some pockets on the side. Okay. I think that's a solid backpack so far in skeleton shape. And it looks like boy is the winner. So now we're just gonna go over the skeleton shape and give him a little more form. Honestly, jackals are pretty skinny, so we're not adding that much. Okay, now let's put in the map. So unfortunately, we're losing a lot of the details when we add in a map like this, which is always a little annoying, but it is how it is. I still like to draw everything that's behind the map before I put the map in, instead of trying to draw around it, because sometimes when you do that, you know, you're only estimating where something should be. And it's easy to make a mistake when you do that and actually have something really off-center. So like if I drew the map first and then drew his legs could end up too far over here or too far over there, you never know. So it's nice to draw everything behind the map, even though you're going to be losing those details, unfortunately. Which also means if we pick clothing for him, we're going to be losing it a little bit, but that's okay. Okay, so let me just pull up my picture of a jackal, and I'll start drawing this in. They've got nice big ears, very pointy, like so. They've got very skinny faces. He's gonna be looking down at the map, so kind of like this. Okay, now it looks like leather jacket is the winner. I'm gonna also add in the foot wraps, because I like that idea if he's walking a lot. He might get sore in his wee little feet here. I know we're doing a poll, but I am also just gonna choose to add this because I like it. Okay, and then a leather jacket. Let's do, I think one of those like kind of standing cuffs, not like the like classic lying flat down like this kind. So it gives him a little bit of brace from any wind. Kind of similar to Foster's vest in chapter 5. Except it's gonna go all the way down to his hands. We'll see part of the jacket down here. Maybe it's a little too big for him. Like so. Okay, let's turn down the opacity. We're gonna make a new layer on top of this so we can start cleaning it up. And it looks like you guys are voting for names next. Okay, let's start adding some details. That feels like too many fluffs. I try to stick to 3 usually. But sometimes when I start sketching I forget stylistic rules I set myself. That's okay. They've got these little itty bitty noses. And we'll get some whiskers. Okay, and it looks like they kind of have little itty bitty eyebrows. Most animals will have like the little muscle there even if they don't have like a pattern for it. So I'm gonna give little circular eyebrows. Okay, I got little straps for the backpack peeking out. I'm not really showing very much of the jacket, so there's not really a way to show that it's leather. So you're just gonna have to know that it is. Like that. Let's add a little bend to the page here. Got a little damaged. Holly ties in with plant-based names to like hazel, herb, daisy, Russell, etc. That's definitely like a family choice because Daisy was a herbalist and then she taught her herbalism knowledge to Herb, who kept it up. So it's very much on theme with that one. And like, I'm sure there'll be plenty of other animals that also have plant-based names. But it was definitely a purposeful choice for that family in particular. Marshall, these jackets usually come with a tag that says what they're made of. They're itchy and a little annoying. Add one. I'm thinking that the people of Graycove are not absolute monsters, so they don't put tags on their clothes that people then have to cut off awkwardly with scissors. People being me, because I hate them. So no tag, but I will add a little zipper. Graycove is autism friendly. No clothing tags. Yeah, I'll give him a little pocket. And it looks like the name Marty was the winner. Cool. He's got a forehead perfect for cool goggles. That's true. Okay, let's start drawing this stuff in. And unfortunately, we're only going to see a little bit of this axe kind of peeking up. On the side there, but we'll know it's there. He looks like he's in his early 20s. Fair enough. Yeah, he's got the vibe going. This definitely feels like a character that would be buddies with Russell. They give each other insider info on exploring outside of Graycove. Maybe he scavenged this lantern too, since this is a very human looking lantern, so maybe we'll give it some cracks. Just gotta be extra careful with it. already scopes out a lot of new places that Russell promptly explores for new things to sell. That would work. Oh my god, I forgot to give them a tail. Okay, their tails are almost the same length as their legs from what I can see. So it's gonna be a very long one. There we go. Very quick and easy fix. His feet got brain surgery, actually, he's very sensitive about it. How do you differentiate between canines and even vulpines? I mean, I guess it's just looking at their general shape language. Foxes have a lot more sharper edges in their faces and general appearance, and then going off of size and everything. So like this guy would be very itty bitty, you know, he's a little guy. Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but I am very happy with this one. I don't think we even need to go in and, you know, redraw, clean up. I think I did a solid enough job. So yeah, you guys better start figuring out what you want for the next fella. I'm just gonna make this the line art color. And written his little name. Explorer and map maker. Oops. Jeez. Marshall, I like how you drew this character. Thank you. Now we're gonna shrink him down because he is way too big next to this snow leopard. We're gonna put him right there. I'm gonna be honest, I have no idea how big a snow leopard is. I think they're one of the like kind of medium-sized large cats. And I don't know how big a jackal is in comparison, so I'm going purely off of vibes. But I think that is good. And my throat is getting a little dry, so I'm gonna take a quick break while you guys do the polls and everything. So I'm just gonna quickly switch to the break scene. Jasper's gonna keep doing the polls for me, and we'll start when I get back. Okay, I am back. My voice is still a little rough, but that's okay. Water isn't gonna fix that. And I'm just gonna look up some reference pictures of Komodo dragon because it looks like that is what won. Oh yeah, sorry about your aunt, Luke. That's sad. Hopefully the stream can be a nice distraction for a bit. Okay, I'm just gonna delete this layer. Calligrapher and ruffian are wildly different jobs. Love that. Okay, we're gonna start drawing this one down here just so I have more space to work with. Marty. Yeah, we made a snow leopard before you joined us here, Dr. Dro. He is a retired explorer who smokes and paints, so we made him look very depressed. And he is an older gentleman, if you can't tell from the exactly 2 age lines I added to his face. Toxicologist is kind of funny for a Komodo dragon. Okay, looks like Candlemaker is winning so far. So let me just really quickly look up candle making since I don't know that process. Okay. So it looks like we're making a Komodo dragon candle maker. So that's very fun. And yeah, I'm seeing 2 different methods. One where you dip it and one where it looks like they just like pour it on the string. Which it feels like the dipping method would work better, but I don't know anything about it, so... Maybe we'll just draw a Komodo dragon holding a lot of candles, like the Candleman from Haunted Hotel. Okay, so we're gonna start with the skeleton again. I think for this guy, I want him to be really kind of hunched. Because Komodo dragons, their head is kind of the same width as their neck. You know? So we're gonna try and show that here. Get them a little bit larger. Body. And their legs aren't super long. We're gonna give him a bit of a bend to his legs so they're kind of bracing his weight since he's pretty like hunched over. And yeah, I'm pretty much just picturing Candleman at this point, so we're gonna lean into that energy, I think. Okay, and then they've got really, really long tails. Big body, big tail, big head, little legs. Yeah, exactly. Okay, and their feet. They kind of proportionally look similar to like a crocodile, which makes sense because they're both big lizards. Okay. And then they've got these really long, kind of oval-shaped faces. Kind of like that, I think. Let me get a better picture. Okay, yeah, no, their faces come to a bit more of a stump. Not quite as long as I made it there. I've got big brows. And like most lizards, they've got these really long mouths. Shrimps as lizards. Okay, and they've got these long tongues, similar to a snake's. It looks like they have really wrinkly necks. Yeah, they're a very strange looking lizard. They've got this kind of... And any suggestions for like clothing, accessories? Because I'm gonna be honest, I kind of just want to put lit candles all over his back, similar to Candleman. Yeah, he is a lizard in what is a cold climate, so he is gonna need some clothing. Let's make his tail a little bit longer here. Maybe he's just holding a bunch of candles. Getting ready to sell them or something. Backpack full of candles. Yeah, we gotta do something. We gotta give him something so he can carry his candles everywhere. Cargo pants with Christmas ornaments. Jars of candle juice. I think they call that wax. Melted wax. Candle juice is melted wax. Jars for the candles, so you could be a walking Bath and Body Works. He is a candle. He's just covered in wax with one giant wick on top of his head. Maybe that's how he stays warm. Look up a picture of a marine iguana and make the barnacle stuff wax on this guy. Let's see. I know I've seen a marine iguana before, but just to remind myself. Yeah. Okay, looks like backpack full of candles is a winner. I think it wants to be one of those backpacks that is also just a basket. You know? Like he's wearing it like a backpack, but it's a basket. And since someone said jars full of candles, maybe there's some hanging off the edge here. Maybe some like bricks of beeswax. It's just an open backpack filled with candles. Because I like the idea, he's gonna have one melted candle on top of his head. Like a really big one. He is the crazy old candle man. Put a spigot in the side of the backpack so you can just pour wax out of it. You got it. From the secret wax compartment at the bottom of the basket. Should the melted candle be at the end of their snout? Why not both? 2 candles. He's always got a light on him. And also wax. Yeah, he never gets lost because he leaves a trail of wax dripped all over the ground. I think the critters should be drooling lots. Yeah, Komodo dragons do drool quite a bit, so maybe just a little bit. It's like, is it wax? Is it drool? You don't know, but he's leaving a trail. They're kind of squarish. Look at this. Gotta go for real. Thanks for all this. It really helped make things better. Well, I'm glad you could join us, Luke. I hope you have a good rest of your night. You're feeling better soon. Customer review. He's really weird, but his candles smell amazing. If we name him Carl, he could be making Carlndils. And next we gotta do a pull for clothing, because like I said, this is a cold temperature place. This man needs some clothes. The wax is the clothes. Seems like someone that would wax lyrical about candles and candle making for hours on end, or go into extreme detail of how to get the wax, then process the wax for candle making. That's funny. Let's have another candle. 2 doesn't seem like enough. And it looks like Wick is the winner. Which I'm kind of happy it is. Wick was my favorite. He and Hazel bond over their shared fascination with their craft. Hazel with plants, Wick with candles. I mean, they would have some overlap with, like, bees, since, you know, gardening and everything. You'd probably want to have at least some bees around. He would love bees, because where else do you get wax? Okay, while you guys are figuring this out, I'm gonna start doing a cleanup sketch of for his face, since nothing's gonna really change there. Maybe part of a beekeeper's suit. I feel like with this kind of character, with how much he loves wax, he would have his own personal bees just for the wax. He wouldn't even care about the honey. That he would be around so much that they just don't sting him anymore, because some beekeepers don't wear suits around their bees if they're around them enough, because bees can recognize people, which is insane to me because they're so small. He is the beehive. They live in the wax. It's funny in a macabre sort of way when Komodo dragons eat, they get their faces just covered in blood and gore, and I get the similar vibe here with his head covered in candle wax. Excellent. That's a perfect vibe to go for, in my opinion. Give him those wee crazy eyes. Okay, it looks like Big Cloak Old Quilt question mark is the winner. I do like the old quilt thing. That's very fun. Okay, how do we want to do this? I'm gonna go back onto the old layer to add in the big cloak. I think a nice, even though he wouldn't put it up, we're gonna add a hood. Just in case he gets chilly. It's a cloak, so it's gonna be, it's gonna have one of those, like pins holding it together, and it's gonna be a little bee, I just decided. Just makes me realize I don't remember how to draw a bee, so I'm just gonna guess. That looks about right. Marshall, I think you should add some candle wax stains to the cloak if it comes up. Oh yeah, absolutely. He'd be getting candle wax everywhere. And I think this is going to be the type of cloak that is definitely too big for him. It's dragging along the ground, kind of tattered along the edges, over the tail. Like he's just made a mess of it over the years. Yeah, maybe a little burnt. And then I think I want the sleeves to be those kind of big floppy ones. Maybe have some singe marks along it. Perfect. Okay, let's start cleaning this up. He's an Elden Ring enemy. They've got really wrinkly necks. Gonna show some of that. And this little bee pendant. Random idea, last character stream, you hit a rustle on one of the characters. Should we do that every character stream? I think it'd work for this one's backpack or hood. LOL. Maybe. Komodo dragons are pretty big. So yeah, maybe maybe we just see his tail sticking out of the bag on the side there. You should have a staff with either a candle or a beehive on the end. Oh, I do like that. Okay, yeah, this hand is gonna change. He's no longer holding candles. It was not a great pose anyways. So let's change this real quick. This. And I want it to be really tall. Your art style reminds me of Captain Underpants. I don't know if that's a compliment or not. I don't really remember Captain Underpants very specifically, but I do remember when I was a kid I didn't like the art style very much. But maybe it does look like Captain Underpants, who am I to say? I really like the idea of it having a beehive on top, like an active one, that he's just swinging around. Just look up beehive real quick. These beehives can be kind of in weird, crazy shapes, but I think we're just gonna do the classic beehive shape, like one of the or human man-made ones. Jesus, it's gonna be in the kind of that shape. And I think they usually have a little hole in them for the bees to exit. I think they mean the simplified cartoon style with little dot eyes. I take it as a compliment. Yeah, that's fair. Like, a lot of simplified cartoon styles end up looking pretty similar because of that. Okay, let's get back to cleaning them up. backpack straps. You guys are already picking the next one. That's good. It'll take me a little while to finish this up. What do their hands look like? Okay, just big claws it looks like. Oops. Yeah, just like basic lizard. Basic little lizard claws, looks like. A little bit stubbier. Just get a little stubby. I know, I usually draw 3 fingers. Some big old claws on them. I think their feet look pretty much the same. Okay. Let's clean this up a little bit. Okay, his feet are definitely not perfect, but I don't want to sit here having to draw them over and over again. So we're gonna move on. Oof, this is not a good hand. It's fine. These don't have to be perfect, they're just rough sketches. Let's do some. He's flying around. Okay, and I think you guys said kind of like a quilt look to this, so we're just gonna do this real quick, very rough, just kind of patchwork. To his cloak, like it just got thrown together at some point, and I mean, never bothered making a nicer one. Very Frankenstein-esque looking cloak. I could very much see this character turning into a matriarch situation where I get really sick of having to draw his clothes over and over and over again. Mostly the tricky part would be remembering where the patches on his cloak are. Okay, let's add just a couple little singe marks to his cloak here. He burned himself a couple times. Or it's just wax, you know? Maybe some on his shoulders from the wax on his head. Maybe he turns his head too fast, he goes flinging. There we go. Now we just gotta do his backpack. And because you guys said it, we might as well stick a little Russell tail sticking out. He's stealing some of his candles. pulling out its basket. There. And I think that is it. Our craziest character so far. He definitely doesn't have the cleanest drawing out of the ones we've done so far, but I also don't want you guys to have to sit there and watch me redraw this just to clean it up, so we're gonna move on. So I'm just gonna do clipping mask, line art, bucket tool. There we go. And pick the candle maker. I'm just gonna add a little flame. There we go. Oh shoot, I drew the candle on Marty. My bad. Just quickly. There we go. Wick. And move him over. Make him a little bit smaller. Although Komodo dragons are pretty big, I don't know how big they're in comparison to jackals, so let's just shove them over here for now. Okay. And it looks like the next one you guys agreed on is a double-dealing weasel who supplies supplies to the guards, but also to Russell. That's very specific. Let me look up a weasel real quick, get some pictures. You guys are picking a very small animal to be dealing in supplies for very large people. Like Mr. Big from Zootopia. Okay, well, let's get started. Okay, so obviously a weasel, they have a very long body. They have kind of this triangular shaped head. I'll start with that. And they kind of have this curve to their bodies. Add that in. I don't know how I'm gonna show that he's a supplies supplier. Let's see what clothes you guys pick. Wow, so few of you have picked Peaky Blinder hat. Well, you know, show him with supplies, obviously. I guess we'll do him in like a little, like, look at this pose, you know? With one arm sticking straight out, being like, look at all my wares. Okay, and I got longer legs than I thought off the top of my head, but still pretty short legs. Just a little. Let's move him over just a little bit. I'm definitely drawing him way too big, but that's okay. We're gonna shrink him down after the fact. Okay, let's add in a rough body shape. They've got pretty long tails. Unlike the Komodo dragon, I don't think he'd drag his along the ground. Okay, probably should have drawn his shoulders before I drew his arms. That's my bad. And big grin. He is trying to make a sale after all. Guard uniform, but no armor. So a shirt. You got it. Ostrich cavalry. He's got such a long little shirt. What other details should we add this guy? I'm not going to draw all of his supplies because that would take up the entire page because he is so little. And we're already starting to run out of room on this one. Okay, sharp teeth. At the Peaky Blinder head anyway. You're the king here, Marshall. I know you want it. Yeah, I do. I really do. Plus it'll make him look a little shady. Let's see. And like the Peaky Blinders, it definitely has a tiny razor sewn into it. I think we should make a weasel who's a good guy, says the chat, the weasel in question. He could be a good guy. The razors in his hat are for self-defense. Let's have his little ears sticking out under. You can be good and do shady things. Exactly, just like Russell. He does some shady stuff, but he's still a good guy. Whiskers. You can trust me or my name isn't Shady T Weasel. We should have made Russell the main character. Yep, guess we're gonna have to start over. Scrap the whole thing. Did you guys choose a name for this guy yet? It doesn't look like it. T for totally not a scam. Turns out Macon was the main character all along. Yeah, we'll just do we'll restart Graycove. Macon's the main character now. It's just him in his shop every single day, and that's it. No mystery, no missing character plot. Slim Shady. What patterns do weasels have? Okay, they got like a big neck patch and that's about it. Oh, I'll sketch that in real quick. It's the same plot, just seen from his eyes. Huh, less customers today. Wonder where Bernard is. Haven't seen him in a while. Why is there a deer in my shop? It's just that over like 5 chapters. Chad E. Weasel. Interesting choice. Eminem canon to Graycove. Turns out that's the only music Russell's been able to find ever. Every single CD he has is just Eminem. I can't believe Slim Shady is the winner so far. I know we're still off by 1 vote, but it does look like it's winning. It looks like this is the most simple character so far, but he's also the smallest and we're gonna shrink him down a bunch, so that's okay. It looks like Slim Shady is in fact the winner. And he's gonna be very, 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 very small. That's about right. Stick him right up there. Itty bitty little guy. Yeah, what's our next fella? Depending on how complicated the next one is, it might be our last one for the night. But if it's similar to Slim Shady here, then we could probably 2 or 3 more, depending. If it's another Wick the Candle Maker, then it's probably just gonna be 1 more for tonight. Why'd you put pangolin 3 times? Oh my god, okay. I don't think I know what a frilled dragon is. Let me look that up. Oh, okay, again, nope. I know what that is. Just took me a second. Yeah, I think you messed up with the pangolin vote here. It's getting spread out. They are really cute. I do love this little guy though. Pangolins are so tiny though. An ostrich is so big. Frilled Dragon is the guy that killed the guy in Jurassic Park. Yeah, that's very vague. Like, I know who it is now. But like, that could have been so many different things. There's so many Jurassic Parks. There's so many deaths in Jurassic Park. Okay, clearly Jasper really, really wants the pangolin, so we're gonna go with that. And yes, that's true. 27 plus 19 plus 7 is more than 47. You got me there. I don't think I even really have to change the animal that much. Okay, you can't rig every single vote, Jasper. I'm gonna take away your poll privileges next stream. Okay, I guess with this one I'm drawing an ostrich and a pangolin, so let me just pull up a picture real quick. Yeah, make band win and I'll just draw Jasper on a wanted poster. Okay. It's been a while since I've drawn an ostrich and they're very weirdly shaped. Oh, that's not the color I like to draw with. There we go. For this one, I'm not even going to bother with the skeleton because they basically just have 2 legs. I'm going just straight into blocking out shapes. I am mostly guessing on the feet, but I'm pretty sure that's partially correct. And they do have kind of biggish wings. Kind of go down like this. And their tails are a little bit bigger. . Are we giving the ostrich the armor, or are we giving the pangolin the armor? Because they kind of already have built-in armor. I might as well draw this little guy on its back now. I don't know the exact size comparison. I am guessing, but I'm thinking it's gonna be something like this. And they got just wee little stubby legs. I figured neither would have armor, and the pangolin just has its scale/hide, but could use some reins on the ostrich's head/mouth. That is a good point. Let's do something like this. Just a basic kind of bridle design. Really weird looking little scales. Their feet just kind of end in stumps, it looks like. I don't really see any details. Yeah, that would be about the scale of pangolin to ostrich. Well, it's nice to know my guess is pretty close. If this poor little guy gets like bucked off or something, that's like a death sentence. Look at how far that drop is. Oh, you know what? Yeah, I just looked it up. And they are bigger than I thought they were. Yeah, it looks like they've got quite the range. Okay, we'll make him a little bit bigger. How about that? Well, that's true. We could give him a weapon now that he's large enough to actually carry one. And it looks like warhorse armor for the ostrich is the winner. So let me look that up now. Look, this looks like a pretty solid reference. Gun. It's gonna have itty bitty little piece of metal on his face. Gotta protect the face, obviously. It looks like horse armor is usually on the back of the neck, which doesn't make a ton of sense to me because you'd think the front of the neck is the thing you have to protect, but also they would move so much that it'd probably pinch and make them uncomfortable, so I guess that makes sense. I'm just gonna give it just these long pieces of metal, I guess. Let's see. On a horse, it usually wraps around like this. We'd have to leave some space for the wings. I guess we could just do this. You should add the hussar wings on the back for Taji's sake. I have to look up what they look like. Let's see. Would that be on the back of the guy or on the... Oh, give the ostrich. Okay, yeah, I can do that. Let me just find a reference picture real quick. Okay, so are you picturing... Because I'm seeing it on people, not on horses. So are you thinking it would just like stick up like this? Ignore the very rough shape. Or would it be laying differently, do you think? Probably, yeah. Okay, why not? Just remember, you promised over your life, and clearly that's a legally binding contract. I will come to collect at some point. I'm not drawing this super duper well, but that's okay. Fix it later. Drawing poorly is what a rough sketch is for. Okay, looks like they come all the way down and kind of swoop in. My soul is already on delivery, don't worry. FedEx will arrive soon. Excellent, I'll be waiting. Jasper, do we get a sound for the soul bag like we do for the idea board? The sound is just him screaming in the background. We're shipping my soul via DHL. It's gonna be a while before it gets there. I'm gonna have such a good collection by the end of this. Okay, well I think I should start cleaning this up now. Let's make a new layer. Bump down the opacity. And start cleaning this up. Oh, is he supposed to be wielding a lance? Oh, yes, I missed that. That's my bad. Let me add that in really quickly. Also remind myself what a lance looks like. Okay, basically just a long spear. He's threatening Wick the candle maker. He wants all of his candles. Sir Lancelot. Okay, it looks like they've got this kind of shape to their eyes. Little noses. Yeah, let's make them happy. Oh, and they've got a really weird little shape that I think is their ear. It's like a little spiral. Ostrich name. The warrior in question, Buttercup. Wait, let's see. Derek and or Death, Jimmy. Okay, let's pause working on this guy so we can make these things. This is a lot of feathers, so we're just gonna do a general feather shape. Leave it at that. Looks like Buttercup is the winner. if we're gonna pick Reginald von Chestershire, can the Penguin's nickname be King Von? I do like that. That does sound kind of sick. Sir Reginald King von Chestershire. Yeah, I didn't realize that he was also streaming on our TV. So when I got up to get a drink, I just saw a big picture of Hazel on the screen and I got confused. Just add in some quick feathers. Needs a little feather in his cap. Clearly, if you're gonna be sorting moss, it has to be by color. By taste is crazy. Okay, let's give the ostrich some leg armor as well. Just a little bit. Something like this. I'm not the best at drawing armor, but I think it comes across alright. actually have no idea what their feet look like. Let me look it up real quick. Oh, gross. Their feet look so weird. I definitely drew it wrong. Kinda just got like one big claw and then one little one next to it. Well, that's for what I get for trying to guess. I don't know which one is stranger, the pangolin riding the ostrich or the candle maker, but I love them both. They are wonderful. Excellent suggestions from you all. And what did we decide the names were again? Sir Reginald von Chestershire and Buttercup the ostrich. Well, we made quite the cast of characters tonight. I think we're gonna call it here because my stomach has been growling for the past like 10 minutes. And that's, ooh, wrong one. That's my bad for forgetting to eat before streaming. I'll delete that one. And yeah, filled the whole page. Good for us. You got a lot farther than you should have. Yeah, I tried drawing these as fast as I could while keeping them looking adequate enough for sketches. Obviously there's still some rough parts, like look at this hand. That's a whole mess right there. But yeah, besides that, I think we did pretty good. But I'm gonna call it here and say goodnight. Hopefully we'll be back next week, but I think after next week's stream we're gonna take a break until January, just because it's gonna be Christmas in the holiday season and very, very busy, and I probably won't have the time to hop on stream, especially on the 25th. So yeah, probably not gonna be a stream on the 18th or the 25th, and probably not the 1st. But we will see. I will post about it. But I hope you all had fun, and I hope you all have a good night. See you next time. Oh, and thank you, Taj.